You have to mess up. You have to mess up. That's the only way you're gonna get better. So I mean, it's paint. It's not that hard. I don't like that at all. I watch other people post the same car over and over. I don't like that, and I don't want to be that. I just don't care to be it. But you chose not to Google it. You chose not to read it. He was like, "Hey, I didn't Google this. I didn't read no instructions. I just guessed in there. Hey, that's your job to fix it. This should be easy." Like, bro, what?
Well, first off, thank you for being my second guest on the podcast. I just had our good friend Ollie on.
Yeah.
And we kind of teased that you were going to be the next in our podcast, so I figured we would go right into it. Yeah, so I'm going to give a little bit of, I guess, what I perceive you, and then I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Right.
Okay.
I'm eager, very eager for this.
Sure. So obviously we just met probably about 6 or 8 months ago. Obviously the first time we ever met in person was at SEMA, which was a lot of fun. But going into SEMA, before I actually met you, I always figured that you were exactly who you are, which I thought was really interesting. You act the same online that you do in person, which I find to be, for the most part, actually true for most content creators that you see on the internet. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of the people watching this would also be not surprised, but like, I've had the good fortune of actually being able to meet a lot of people that were on TV or big content creators, YouTubers, that kind of stuff. And I'm always fascinated by, I guess, how they portray themselves online versus how they actually act and
both.
Yeah, right. Like a good example, not to go off too topic, but Marshall from Inline, I had no idea he was going to be as hilarious as in person because he doesn't really show his face much in the content, right? It's mostly just memes, but he's just as funny in person as he is online.
For sure. For sure.
So, but before I met you and before we started doing a lot of content together, I always just assumed you were just going to be doing, you were just at a collision background. You weren't even interested in custom or restoration and that kind of stuff. And obviously, I learned that you have, your classic Mustang you're working on. You're interested in painting just random crap that you grab,
anything.
Yeah. So I guess that's two things that I found really interesting whenever I met you, and I'm curious your thoughts on that.
No, I mean you hit it right on the nail. I mean, I like to be humble. I definitely like to show my appreciation because I definitely appreciate anybody commenting or liking because I know it's not it might not last forever, and I know it doesn't happen for everybody. So I just try to be myself, and that's the easiest person you can be. Collision wise, custom wise, paint wise, brother, I do anything to make me some money. If you wanted me to paint anything, it doesn't matter what I just want to move forward in life and keep moving up. You know what I mean? So whatever it takes me, the Lord continue to bless me, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome, man.
I just move forward.
So on that topic, then, where is your heart? Like, where do you act? What kind of projects do you actually prefer doing? And does that coincide with content? Like, do you enjoy the content part, or do you enjoy more the work part?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Tommy. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it for sure. I enjoy the collision. I enjoy painting. I more so enjoy like a brand new fender, a bumper blend, a door. I do enjoy that.
The easy shit. I gotcha.
Yeah, no, for sure. The restoration has been becoming a little bit more I don't know how to
technical.
It's
technical.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Exactly. It's a little bit more exhausting too. You know what I mean? I like to do a project, and at some point it's done, and I can look back and I'm like, I'm satisfied. But you kind of don't get that until like 10 years with the Mustang.
A while,
because I'm already like 4 or 5 in.
Are you really?
It's tough. Yeah, I've been working on it because my very first painter job full time was at the place I'm at now, and I've been here for 3 years. So, and that's when I started. It was 3 years. So
cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and so right now though, are you doing all the prep, all the body, and the paint, or are you just doing the paint?
Correct. No, I just do the prep and the paint. We have 2 body guys. We have like an A tech and a C tech.
Oh, okay.
Well, it might be a B tech, but we do have one A tech basically. You know what I mean? And me. So
okay, very cool. All right. Well, let's change gears over to the content side because obviously
Okay.
that's what put me on to you, and that's how we
Yeah.
met and talked and that kind of stuff. So when it comes to content, what type of content do you like making, and which ones do you kind of just do because that's the job you're doing that day?
I like making all content, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter to me. I enjoy it probably because I'm not up to Joel's level where I can make as much. So like I mean I don't know if you noticed, but like I take multiple days off at a time just because sometimes I don't have the work, and then sometimes my jobs might not be of the higher quality that I want to put on Instagram. So I honestly just enjoy all content, bro. And I have so much content that I kind of don't upload because I'm like people gonna like it, and I know I shouldn't think that. You know what I mean?
I was
So,
just
but I
about to
like
say,
all
man, like, so let me
content.
go back to what I had first talked about, right? My overall impression of you was you're a very relatable, down to earth dude, right? So,
Try to be.
well, but it's funny because like you do try to be, and you don't even have to try to be because that's just who you are. But
Right.
you just talked about like not posting specific content or specific projects or whatever, but that's what would make you even more relatable to people. Because like, dude,
Correct.
the amount of shit jobs people do every day, or stuff that you don't really want to have to do but you do.
Mhm.
One example that I saw the other day, which made me laugh, and he did it mostly as a joke, but it was actually a job that came in, was Inline posted a video. I'm sure you saw it. There was a little rust spot on a quarter that he was blending into.
I seen that, and I see that you did the video on yes, no,
Bro,
I see that.
I mean, it's not the pretty, Instagram thing that you want to show, but it's real life, dude.
No.
Like, I mean, stuff like
I get more
that.
com I get more comments on my blend panels having dents than anything, you know what I mean, than over the overall quality of the
I mean,
job,
it's
so
real life shit, man. I mean, if you're not getting paid for it or the shop's not getting paid for it, you're not going to fix it. You know,
no.
it's just the truth.
No, they're definitely they're lost in the sauce if they think that's how it works, I mean, but you can tell who's been here and who hasn't, so I mean
Right. All right. So you just brought up sauce. Explain to me where the nickname came from.
oh, because my name is Alfred, and everybody called me Alfredo Sauce growing up, and I don't like really the name Alfred or Alfredo, so everybody just calls me Sauce.
Ah,
And then
that
and
makes a
then like
lot of sense.
and then it's a great conversation starter too because everybody always asks why do they call you Sauce, and then I'm like, if I'm mad, I could be Hot Sauce. If I'm talking to a girl, I could be Mac Sauce.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I'm feeling a
Okay.
little Asian, I could be soy sauce. You know what I'm saying? I could be all over the place with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm multiple sauces. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know, bro. You
That's
don't
too funny.
know.
That's too funny. All right. So
Yes, sir.
now back to the content. When obviously you've made a lot of stuff that does really well, like reach wise and that kind of stuff. But do you have like one or two videos that really stand out that you saw either go viral or bring you a specific brand that wanted to work with you, or a care package from a specific company, or what type of, do you have one that really sticks out?
I have like one or two that actually kind of went viral. I mean, I have one that went like 1.4 million, and it's not a lot to some. And then I have one that did like 700K. But it just it definitely gave me a lot more brands that I've never had. I've had a lot more people reach out to me than never before. I really don't feel like I'm that big of a guy, but they still reach out to me, and take care of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I really don't go viral very often. I really haven't found that recipe or that sauce for the internet or for that thing to take you off to go viral. You know what I
Sure.
mean? But I've had one or two, and like I said, it's brought me a few things.
Sure.
Like I say, if anything, Joel's helped me along the way because, like I said, if I didn't have Joel, shouting me out like all the way, I mean,
No, of
I
course.
wouldn't have made it this far. You know
I
what I mean?
hear
I
you.
probably would eventually, but
I
he's
hear you.
definitely
I
put
mean,
me on the fast track.
it always helps, right? But at the same time, you have to have something about you or something about your
Correct.
personality to attract those types of people, you know? I
Yes, sir.
mean, dude, like having the right people around you is, 99% of it in my opinion.
No, for sure. And and it's a lot based on the attitude, you know what I mean? And I just try to be myself, and I just try to at least try to have the most positive attitude. And I just try to be real, bro, because as long if you're yourself, I mean, you don't gotta change nothing, you know what I mean? Even when I meet you in person, I just gotta be myself, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if you don't like me, you are, you know what I mean? If you don't, it's okay.
Right. For sure. For
It
sure.
happens.
Yeah. The first
It
time I
happens.
met you, you were freezing your ass off out in Vegas.
Yeah. Tommy, don't hey,
And I
we're
show up
supposed to
in
be
shorts.
professional.
And I
I don't know what
in
he's talking
shorts.
about. Don't know what he's talking about.
All right. So I got a few questions, rapid fire style, and then we'll kind of change gears. But what's your favorite paint gun right now?
My favorite
Honestly.
paint gun right now.
I know I
No, no,
just
I
sent
give you
I
I
know
give
I
you
just sent you
honesty.
my new one, but in general, what's your favorite gun right now? For like let's say your favorite clear coat gun.
It would kinda have to be the Exodus.
Yeah.
It would have to be the Exodus.
Yeah, and you're spraying with the 1.5 OP or the HV.
Yeah, and I had the Sada, the 1.3, and it's just like my 1.3 is just like a tad bit too fast, and it's just like and that's fine. It's just the Exodus is so user friendly. Like I can miss a spot and I can see that I missed a spot and go over it and fix it until I like the texture. With the Sada, you hit that spot once, you better wait some time because I
Yeah, it's
have
a
a lot of
lot of product.
material on it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Which, with the 1.5, you would think that would be like a freaking hose, which
correct,
which it
but it's not.
is, but it's atomizing enough that it's not like pooling, right? So it's like a lot
Okay,
of product on it, but it's atomizing, so it actually is like not drying, but like sticking to the panel, right? Like,
correct.
I mean, if you threw a 1.5 in a SATA, dude, you'd have runs freaking
Oh
everywhere.
no.
Yeah,
Oh no, you wouldn't be able to, but because it shoots like a 1.2, you know what I mean, or like a 1.25. Like, I I mean the material. I know the abundance of material comes out, but I mean I agree with you with like the atomization. Like you know how the 1.2 has almost the finer
yeah,
atomization. It
yep,
seems like you know what I mean.
hmm
So that's just what it seems like to
yeah,
me. I like it.
yeah.
I like your new one as well too though.
Okay. Now, I've only have you used it for clear coat or just the base coat so far?
I used it for everything. I've used it for the waterborne sealer, waterborne paint, and the solvent clear coat. Yep. And then I've also used it for your solvent products as well for the alpha pigments.
Okay, cool. So with my new gun, then with it's funny. I don't know if you saw the comments on Ollie's video that I've been sharing, but everyone's commenting that the fan is too big, which I can't wrap my head around
I've never heard
because
that. What?
I've never heard of anyone in my life saying that the fan pattern on a gun is too big.
I've never in my life heard that. That's absurd. What?
Dude, it's like 50 of them, one after another after another. They're all like, oh, so much extra, overspray because the fan's so big. And I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe on like, because like obviously he was spraying a smart car. So like, yeah, like that little A pillar that's like this big, yeah, the fan is like this big. So it's a lot of overlap. But like, you're not gonna, every gun is gonna have some sort of overspray there, right? And the main thing is the transfer efficiency, right? And you can see in the video that there's not a lot out in the air, So I just found that super weird.
I wouldn't even worry about the I know when you get into like the making the manufacturing the paint and whatnot, you're more into the numbers of the transfer. If I'm not using the same amount of ounces in my clear, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter if it's big, small, as long as it could be the size of the car. But if the job is coming out fine, I'm using less or the same amount of materials. What's the problem?
For
But
me,
people are sheep. But you know people are
yeah,
sheep though.
right.
They literally follow.
True, and they're used to, more of the traditional guns, right? Like
Correct. Nobody
like
likes change.
no, no. And like obviously like my thing with a big fan pattern is if a panel's this big, you only have to do like 3 passes, right? So
Right.
it's quicker, you're able to move quicker, especially for like a
Same
collision, dude. I
thing.
mean, time is
It's
money.
the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, I just thought that was interesting. But that being said, did you notice that the fan was extra large compared to other guns? Or do you think it was about even with like the Exodus or something? Or maybe you didn't notice.
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I honestly, if you want me to keep it like 100% honest with you, like I said, I look at the Exodus and I personally always thought I was like that fan pattern was too big, but I don't care because it does the job. I don't, you know what I mean? Like it does what it's supposed to do, you know.
Right.
So I don't make the gun. I just spray it. That's
For
my
sure.
job. You know what I mean? So I stick to what I know, and I try to leave that to other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And obviously I come from like the more custom and restoration world, right? And you're more in the collision industry, right? And I don't know, I know you've only really been in the one shop, but I'm curious when it comes to guns, because I get asked this a lot. and this might actually answer a few things for them. And when I am designing a gun or recommending a gun, I'm going after what's going to be the best for that type of sprayer, right? If you like to move fast, if you like to move slow, what type, all that, and then what's
Okay.
going to be the best overall finish, right?
Right.
In the
Right.
collision world, I know there's basically two main things that shops are looking for. One is transfer efficiency, only because obviously they make more money if you use less paint, right?
Right.
And then B, I guess kind of what's going to make a OEM style finish, not necessarily a better than OEM finish, because you want it to match the rest of the
Correct.
car, right? For
Correct.
me, you're trying to
Correct.
get the best finish no matter what, no matter how much
Glass.
product
I've
you're
never
using.
had anybody say it was too glassy. Never.
Interesting. So I have.
Never.
I haven't done many.
Really?
I haven't done many collision jobs, right?
That's
But
crazy.
I come from the the mindset of I want everything to look freaking glass, right?
Right.
But like we were painting it was like a Honda Civic. It was, I mean, the shop I was helping at the time, like, we were mostly a custom shop, and then, we would have here and there, bumpers or sides or whatever, right? But like
Right.
they were mad that the side I painted looked 10 times better than the rest of the car. They were actually upset about it. So you've never
Oh
experienced
man, I
that.
would not want to work for those people. I would not want to work for those
Well,
people.
it was the customer. It wasn't the shop. It was the customer.
Well, right. No, that's what I meant. Well, that's what you know what I mean. That I would work. I wouldn't want that customer. That's not a customer I would want.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, obviously,
to do
I tend to
better.
agree, but
You don't want me to do better? I'm gonna try my best to do better. Unfortunately, I'll go polish the rest before I orange up my clear. Or
and
I mean,
that's what
I know I do that now. I orange,
right.
I'll make it peely or whatnot. But I mean, I just rather do it right and nice. You know
I'm
what I
with
mean?
you. I'm with you. Obviously, I mean, yeah, that's what we ended up doing was, we ended up polishing the rest of the car. We charged
Yeah.
him. We charged him, but
Oh, oh well. I mean,
we did a quick,
yeah. Let's
we did
do
a quick like two
it.
step on it, just to kind of
Oh yeah.
make
Oh
it
yeah.
easy. Yeah.
I've I've had people complain about all types of things like scrap. I have people come like weeks later complain about dirt that I've missed, like a nib or whatnot, and he's furious and upset. And then my boss will literally take the wool, run it over there, and the guy's like, "Man, that looks fantastic. I can't believe you just." I'm like, "The dirt's still there. You just
Right. Whatever.
they
Whatever.
don't know what they're talking."
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
dude. It looks good from my house.
can't see it from my driveway.
Yeah, dude. The amount of stuff I've heard. So what actually got you into, I guess, the content creation side?
The guy that was paint, I just like the before and afters. I would literally prep it, and then like it would be all taped up in the booth, and I would only take like a video of it before, and then as soon as it got done painting, it was done baking, I would just do a video after or whatnot. So literally when I was doing that, I just liked the before and after, and that's when I actually met Joel. Joel started commenting on my videos when
Oh,
I was
really?
just a prepper. I don't know, yeah, I don't know if he knew, but
No kidding.
I
That's so
probably,
cool.
bro, I had like 200 followers on TikTok, bro.
Really?
That's literally what kept me going. I'm not joking. Yes, sir.
Let's see. I want to see if I can find your first ever TikTok.
It wasn't paint related though.
Oh, really?
No, it
Okay.
was not paint related.
Okay. Maybe I'll hold off because knowing your background, it might be something else.
I was like, it's not wild or anything. It's appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, no, my prepper. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even think my prepper ones are still
Oh,
even on my
really?
TikTok. Yeah, because I mean, it was somebody else's work, so I'm
That's
pretty
fair.
sure I don't
That's
even
fair.
have them anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
I
Well,
had like I did everything like I would credit because it was the guy that actually taught me how to do the collision painting because like I said, industrial painting and collision painting is kind of two different. So the guy
absolutely.
that taught me how to do it, like I said, I would credit his name and everything. So like when I went back and looked at it, it's just kind
That's
of
cool. I
rather do
mean,
something myself.
yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, we've been kind of talking like, you want to kind of expand your horizons and, that kind of stuff. And we're working on a couple
Correct.
things behind the scenes that,
Facts.
we'll talk about later on. But yeah. So I guess I'm curious your thoughts because obviously I've shared with you and a few other people my next big change for the business is going to be my new paint guns and then the whole customization aspects.
Right.
I'm curious your thoughts on that and if you think a lot of people would like the idea of being able to customize their own gun.
So in a sense of as long as you derive away from like the other customizations that they already kind of have, you know, because Sada has some that I think you could put. I don't know if you could put a picture on it, or I know you can. They have. I know it's not specific, but the fact, as long as you continue to run with like the hydro dipping and then like the two toning, I mean, I've like I said, people probably don't notice just because it's only 10 or 30 people asking me instead of 100 people asking Joe. But I do have people ask me a lot about that gun, about the golden gun, and I even had a guy trying to buy it on you from my YouTube, and I'm like, bro, it's not even out yet. He's like, cause all I see is the HVLP. I'm like, it's not out yet. I'm like, it's coming. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I like the golden gun. I do. I always wonder why guns couldn't be shiny, and I always assumed it was because of the materials we used, or the hard chemicals. But
Right.
I love my golden gun, bro. I do.
Yeah.
I really like it. I
Yeah.
like
So like
it.
for me,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm trying to prioritize customization color wise and then also being able to do either designs or logos or whatever, at least in the beginning, right? And then hydro dipping and that kind of stuff will come with time because to be bluntly honest, it's very difficult to do
I
because of
can
the
imagine.
solvents.
Can't
Because of
imagine.
the solvents.
Can't imagine.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
So color wise, whether it's two tones or limited
That's
edition
more than enough.
colors,
More than enough.
right?
I agreed with you when you said, I'm pretty sure you were the one talking when we were talking. I'm pretty sure you said like the Nike ID, like as long as you can custom that. No, yeah, that's more than enough in the right direction, and then just to hook people, and then from there, you know what I mean. We could do more for sure. If it takes off and you can run with it, you know what I mean. So you know it. I mean, you started a company. What am I telling you?
Well, and obviously we were talking. We're gonna have like limited editions for like people that I really, I work with, right? Like you, Ollie, Inline, like people like that. And as well as brands, right? Like we're probably gonna have, like a Luma specific branded gun. Wouldn't that be sick? So that we're gonna have a linear edition, and it'll be in their colors, their
Oh, that'd be
logos,
cool.
that
I
kind of
always
stuff.
wanted some linear blocks, bro. I want some
Yeah,
linear blocks.
I'll send you some. I didn't realize you didn't have any. Yeah, I got
I
plenty
mean,
of them.
you don't have to. Oh well, if you will, I will
Absolutely, yeah.
promote
If
it.
you'll use them, absolutely.
Look at my Mustang.
Yeah, I'd actually be curious your thoughts. So right now, when it comes to blocks, and I assume most of your stuff in the collision world, not many people use blocks until like the very end, right?
Right.
But are you using like Durablocks, or what are you currently using
Mhm.
then?
So I use Durablock. I started with the 3M the 3M hook and loop, and
Oh,
those were my favorite, to be
interesting.
honest.
Those are the
I
yellow
like
ones,
the
right?
Velcro. Yeah,
Yeah,
I honestly like them, but when you get talking to the older guys, they like precision and whatnot. And I mean, I can understand how the hook and loop cannot be as flat as, but it's collision. And then did you just see how it
it's
got
quick.
hammered out by the lat? But you don't want to be that guy to say that. So I just try to do my best. Everybody likes Durablock. I'm not a big fan of sticky back because it's awful. It get dusty. It doesn't. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I like them. I mean.
I get it.
If Joel has the ones with the balls on them, and I'm not sure which ones are those.
Yeah, so those are
I
Big
heard
Kid, which
I heard those break easily.
I'm not going to say anything because technically I sell their competitor, right? But for me, whenever I've tested tons of different brands, right? And to put it short, the reason why I work with Linear is because of the way the I guess the pressure transfers across, right? It has that spine that goes
Yeah.
across, and then it has the handle that goes the whole way across. So it's
Yes.
no matter where you have your hands, it spreads completely across the block evenly. With the balls, these don't
On the
transfer.
edges.
Yeah, they're only on the edges, so you get what I call hot spots, right? So
I didn't like that either.
if you're blocking this way, 90% of the pressure is going to be here and here, right? You're going to get a little bit of transfer, but you're not going to be cutting it completely flat.
As much, even
Yeah,
even if it's nine, even if it's more than that, it won't be exact. I agree with you. That's why I like linear blocks, like I said, and then for him to have one that was so long to be able to do a large amount like
yeah.
that, you know what I mean? I
They save a
I
lot of
was
time. They get them really
yeah.
quick. You can get something like straight really quickly, and honestly, that's why. Other than me being friends with Colton now, that's the main reason why I started selling and using linear blocks to begin with. Like I kind of talked about it a little bit on the podcast with Joel, but like I didn't start selling linear blocks. I started using linear blocks and then transitioned to asking if I could start selling them and wholesaling them and that kind of stuff. And I try and do that with all of the products I sell, right? Because I don't want to sell something that I personally don't stand behind, I don't personally use or whatever, you know?
Facts.
Yeah. Because like I want to be able to
No,
talk
for
about
sure.
them too, right? Like I want to be able to
Mhm.
teach my customer service team, like, hey, this is why we have them. Put out videos that are actually educational rather than relying on, customers doing videos or, the supplier or the manufacturer doing them and that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
that's kind of one of the main things.
Being proactive and not reactive. That's what that is,
Exactly.
Tony. You feel me? That's that's all that is
No,
for
for sure.
sure.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
let's change gears to colors. What's your current favorite OEM color, or one that you've painted recently and you were like, man, that's a cool color?
Mm, if I did have a favorite OEM color, it'd probably be it's Ford EA. I think it was like hot chili pepper red or something like that. It was like a tri-stage red. I mean, but it started off orange and then when you put the
Yeah,
red over it,
it makes it more
I
red.
don't have too many I don't have too many particular like OEM colors that I like. I have such a difficulty using or even utilizing the mystery bundles that you send me because I love all your colors so much. Like I'm literally I have like this much of like let's say some Cascade Blue left, and I'm just trying to hold on to it. I'm like, why he'll just send
I
me
would just
more,
send you
and I have
more.
another bottle. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have another. This was, yeah, but it's so pretty and it's so nice, and I just don't want to waste it. It's just, you know what I mean. Those are my favorite colors for sure.
interesting. Okay, so then let's change gears to the custom then. Obviously, you've used a bunch out of my mystery bundles and that kind of stuff, which for the audience, maybe they don't know, but we offer, our mystery bundles of, 4-ounce ready to spray paints, right? And it could be
Yes, sir.
any of the colors we sell. We have boxes of 5, box of 10, box of 15, and box of 30. Um, and I'm going to be expanding that, which this is the first time I'm talking about it. I'm going to do a monthly subscription, like mystery box. It's just going to be like 4
Yeah.
or 5 colors and then some other, the idea is, at least right now, and this is kind of like, it might change over time, but my initial idea is it'll be like 4 new colors that maybe aren't even on the website. And I'm going to debut it there and then add it to the website. And then it'll
That would
be
be cool.
and then it'll come with something for them to paint, right? And to be honest, and this comes back to you, it kind of comes full circle. It's like, a lot of the little things that you've been painting, right? Like little stuff that you probably got at like a thrift store or you found at your house or whatever, right? People really gravitate towards. So like, whether it's a tumbler or, I mean, literally anything.
The Christmas tree, the
Yeah, dude.
nutcracker,
Yeah.
the
So
they like the jack stands, and I mean, it wasn't as not as eye popping as one would like my Xbox controller or
right,
whatnot.
that
But
was
I
a good
mean,
one.
but I did enjoy that one. You know what I mean? But that's just like honestly to keep it 100% honest with you, that's a mixture of my spraying technique and then like I said, I'm still fairly new, so then that's a mixture of like me making sure I get it down and I'm doing it like
For sure.
pulling the trigger the right way and I'm not over like putting all the paint in one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oversaturating it
Yeah.
type. So it's just like it could be multiple of things. So, but I really do enjoy the experience and all the colors. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, yeah, and like I was saying, like in the mystery box, I want to have a few ready to spray colors, and then maybe like something that goes in every box that they would paint for that month, right?
You
Whether
should.
whether it's like a tumbler or like a dog bowl, like a custom dog bowl, or something along those lines,
But
or
I'm
skate
pretty sure
deck.
somebody would collab with you. If I just feel like somebody would collab with you for that, just to get their name out there as well, you know?
and
So I mean,
and that's kind of where my head's at, right? Because like obviously, as you and I talked about, right? If you look on my website, 99% of it is small businesses that I sell, right? I
yes,
sell,
yes.
our stuff, which is obviously a small business, Linear, Luma, all of those. I mean, the only big companies that I actually sell is like I
Like the
have,
collision end.
yeah, well,
Not
even then, I mean, that's a
the
small
small. Well, I
business,
know small. I'm sorry, I'm still
right?
on the small ones. No
Yeah,
collision. No, it's still.
no,
Yeah, I got you.
exactly.
But who's the big ones?
Right. I mean, like the only ones is I sell the DV1 on the site only because people ask, right? I sell a
You
couple
said Sada
SATAs,
too? Yeah,
I
let's say
sell a
okay.
couple
Yeah.
SATAs. I barely sell them though because SATA doesn't allow online sales, so I have to put it as like a form on the website. Like if you go to a SATA thing they don't allow it, dude. I sold so many SATA guns in the first month that I own TSS that I got an email from SATA directly saying, "Hey, consider this a cease and assist. Remove it from your website right now. We only want people to be able to buy SATAs in person and have
They
like,
swear they Ferrari. They swear I'd have left it up there too.
dude, dude, I was like, man, like, my response was no problem. I don't mind removing it. That they were like, it just can't be advertised, right? You can have like a form or something. You can't have an add to cart. You can't have a price. You can't do anything like that. So obviously, I was like, fine. I don't really at this point. I just bought the business. I'm trying to save the
That's
company,
silly.
because when I bought it, I don't. Again, I haven't disclosed any of this either. When I first bought it, there was like 300 non-shipped orders that were paid that were not canceled. And I had no idea that I was taking on that whenever I bought the
That's
company.
awful. That
So
is no bueno.
I was going through that, and then I got that cease and assist from SATA, and I was like, oh my god, like my world. Literally, I was in my basement, which that's where I'm recording this right now. I had all my racks set up with all my paints and that kind of stuff, and like I felt like the world was collapsing around me, right?
That
And
sounds awful,
it was
bro.
wild, dude. But anyways, SATA, yes, I sell. I don't sell a lot of it, and then I don't sell any 3M stuff for the most part. I think I have right now. I have their gun cleaner, but like even then, I have my own gun cleaner coming out later this month, so that'll go away.
I need to buy a VersaFlow, but I mean, just coming up with $3,400 is just, and I want to spend it on my Mustang. I'm like, do I really need to live that long? Like, who? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. You
So,
could cut that.
well, no, but like there are cheaper options, which I don't know if Chris from Luma has told you, but he has one in the works.
No, he has not. But no, I mean, I seen the side of ones even like what inline has. You know what I mean? But I want to be able to talk. That's the problem. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like Joel has the 3M bursts because he can do videos while he's painting because he can talk. I have since he had the respirator or
right.
anything. You can't
No, for
talk.
sure, for sure. I mean, the one. I mean, you can always do a voiceover. I'm sure you know that, but
Correct. No, correct.
yeah,
But I can always do things like inline too. Like he doesn't need to talk. He does it, and he has the attention grabbing. You know what I mean? So it's just, and but I would like to utilize. You know, I try to utilize and like regurgitate like little bits of it, but I just try not to like steal their whole swagger and style. You
for
know what I mean? I
sure.
still try to still be myself. You know,
Well, honestly, my favorite part about your content is you. So
I
going
appreciate it, Tommy. It means the world to me.
Well, so like going, I mean, obviously inline, like they do kind of both, right? They have, like the meme style ones, and then they have like
Funny.
some like, more traditional painting, blending, talking, tips and tricks, that kind of stuff, right? And I think, I think you need to lean more into showing you more, right? Like I wouldn't even worry about the other stuff. Um, and that's my opinion because like obviously you are your own brand, especially right now, and with the things
For
you and
sure.
I are working on behind the scenes, you want to strengthen that brand.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. I
that's
agree
just
with
my
you.
2 cents. But
Yeah.
okay, so
That's not I definitely I'll just continue to be myself and
yeah,
I appreciate you always looking out for me and always and reaching out text wise and making sure everything's okay and hey, keeping me pushing forward. No, I'm serious because I mean that's what keeps me motivated and keeps because I really appreciate it. It really keeps me going. Because
I'm
some
glad.
days you know how it is, don't want to do it, but the
Yeah,
people around you keep give you that energy to keep going. So
I'm glad to hear
it's
that because like I know I send a lot of messages like feedback on content and that kind of stuff, and I never want you to take it like badly. I'm always here trying
oh
to help.
no. I've seen a hater and you're not a hater. I've seen them, but you're not in that league, Tom. You're way beyond that, brother.
All right. So we talked about the colors, and you mentioned Cascade Blue. Is that your current favorite custom color that you've sprayed, or do you have? Okay. So
No,
give me your top three.
no. A top three? Oh gosh. It would have to be Reaper. I was really fond of
Interesting.
the CU-29, which was the gold, almost the same as my golden gun.
Yeah, it's like copper gold.
And, yes, and, Serp no, that's there's another blue that I really can't I'm gonna say it was Ravine. I
Yeah.
wanna say it
Yeah.
was
Yep.
Ravine.
That's one of my new ones.
Yes, yeah, but it does and it has, like, a bit of a shift to it, doesn't it? Just
Yeah. So I have
one of them blues.
yeah. So Ravine Sweet, and honestly, like I didn't like it that much until
What?
I saw it in the lighting at SEMA on the wall. Like every time I would walk by, I was like, dude, that's a sick color. Like I was like, okay, like that one's pretty cool.
No, it was that's
Because
cool, it was cool.
it's so different than other colors. So to give you a little peek behind the curtain for that color, is that was one of the first colors I created after I changed away from Tamco. So I had just gotten my new toners, my new candies, and then obviously I
Trying
had,
stuff out.
right. So I actually made, it's Ravine and then Hydra. Hydra's the other one.
That's what it was. That I like Hydra too. Hydra is a real.
So
Oh yes, sir. That's for
those
sure.
are in the same family. That and Ghoul. So Ghoul,
That's what I did the
Ravine.
controller.
Yep, yeah, exactly. So all of those have the same base. When I say the same base, it has the same pearl in it, right? And then I
Right.
changed
Right.
the toners and the candies in it.
Characteristics of it. Right.
So it has the same shift, kind of, but like because the candies and the toners kind of modified. So like obviously Ghoul is mostly green with a color shift to purple, blue, teal, right? And gold.
Correct. Correct.
Ravine is more blue with the teal,
But
purple, green. And then
correct.
Hydra
Correct.
is mostly
Correct.
purple.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So same idea, same little family, but they're very different. Just
But that's why I love colors. That's why I like painting. I love how something so minute, something so small can change it. I do. I hate when I get dirt in my work, but I like when I figure out why it's there, and I just like being able to figure out what's wrong. You know what I mean? And being that guy to be dependent on. So I mean,
that's cool.
but yeah, no, your colors, bro. I love your colors. I love when the hangman, bro. Like I could go on for days about colors, and that's the worst part because like when I get done, I do my Mustang and I just look and I'm like, what am I gonna paint this? Like I would literally have to take all your colors, mix them together, but then I'd just be defeating the purpose of taking away from the specialness that you put in each color. You know what I mean? So it's
I mean, yes and no.
oh
I
man, I'm
mean,
in such a
have you ever
dilemma.
have you ever watched my buddy Fonzie's videos with Dip Your Car?
Yeah,
Okay,
all the time.
of course. So have you seen his? He has like a series that he calls um, what the heck's he call it? It's like mixing doctor or something like that. And basically, it's taking two colors and mixing them together and then spraying, right?
Yes, yes, I
So
have. Yes, I have.
without no testing, like completely, you know,
Just going
unknown.
for it. No, for sure he
Yeah.
does. Then he
And
stirs
like
them up. Yeah.
I think that's cool because, like, in all reality, right? Like, I heard a quote the other day. It was actually from Mark Cuban, and he was saying two things that are your favorite in the world can only get better if you combine them. And I tend to agree
That's
for the most
awesome to
part.
think.
For the most part, right? Like his example was a milkshake and French fries.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
I
yeah.
mean, I can kind of see it, you know? And like
Yeah.
one of the videos Fonzie and I did together was he did my Zenith color shift, which is the pearl. At the time it was still unreleased, but it's the pearl that I used on my car, on my El Camino at SEMA.
Right,
And he
right.
sprayed it over a metallic brown base, which in theory wouldn't
I bet
be
you that was
cool.
wild. I
In
bet you
like
that was wild.
so he was taking the pearl that I loved on my car, right? And then spraying it over one of his base coats that he found to be underutilized or underappreciated, right? And he's like, what could go wrong? I mean, like, I love the pearl. I love this base. Let's show it. And like that video did really well for him, and the color ended up looking sick. So,
That's awesome,
I
dude.
mean, something like that could be cool. Like that could be a cool thing to do.
So and I'm just scared, like, and then I just like so me for me, I just want to make sure like the whole reason why I'm doing any type of spray source colors or because I want people to see what the color is and maybe see what they can utilize it on. I definitely have thought about doing like mixing them but that's why I kind of like lean towards more of the fades. You know what I mean? Because it kind of almost shows, but then they'll start like pearls will fall onto the other one. So I try to tack it off. I just like to show what the greatness that you have already created, you know what I mean? But I can mix some.
I think
I
that'd be
can
cool.
mix some too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So let me give you my perspective, because obviously I want people to like the colors and enjoy them and that kind of stuff, right? And showcase the colors that I pride myself on making. But at the same time, like, I had the conversation with Fonzie, and hopefully I can have him on the podcast sometime soon too. But yeah, so I kind of pick his brain because, like, in all reality, right? Like, he's who I look up to in the business world, especially in the automotive paint world, right? We're in different sectors, but we are kind of parallel, right? So, I kind of I kind of took his idea of his car kits, right, which is like the bundle, and then adapted it to my application, which his thing is like it's the ground coat, the pearl, and then the clear coat, right? For me, it's a lot more in depth. Like there's like if you look at like the difference in SKUs, right? Like one color of a car kit has I think like I don't know, it's like over 200 SKUs for one color because there's six sizes. Then we have four different types of projects, restoration, custom, light body
Then all
work,
the
scuff and shoot,
hardeners and the
and then the
temperatures and
temperatures, right? And then the ground coats. And there's a lot. So, but anyways, the reason why I bring that up is I feel like having someone in that same, parallel to kind of bounce ideas back and forth is a really important thing. And I know I can't speak for him. I know I've gotten a lot of value from it. And one of the biggest values kind of comes back to I was always curious. I was in the same mindset as you, right? I'm like, why don't you just showcase your colors that look good over a specific base looks great? And his response, in essence, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but his response was, I want to instew like creativity with my customers. Plus, it makes good content, because like some of his stuff doesn't look good. And he has no problem saying, hey, don't do this, right? Like this looks like dog shit. Like, do not do this. But then there's other ones that are beyond surprising, right? And
yeah,
I kind of like the idea of instilling that creativity, right? Like this
yeah,
color, you might look good over this different base, right? Not only as a creativity standpoint and a content standpoint, but also as a small business, it's kind of cool to like obviously if they're going to try and test and practice and play with it, right, they're buying more product, right? So at the end of the day, it
yes,
actually is
correct.
better for the business. So don't be scared of it. I actually want to
That makes sense. So
I
I
want to
never
lean
thought of
in.
it like
I didn't either until
that's
like a
smart.
month ago when I talked to him.
That's smart.
Yeah, yeah, I can't take credit. I mean, honestly, like I said, I was more in your mindset. I was like, dude, use it over a base you already know. And he's like,
Yeah.
nah, that's no fun.
He obviously, hey, he got the internet in the chokehold. You know what I
No
mean? So,
shit.
hey, I'm listening. Like I'm taking notes.
And that's exactly it. And like, and like for you, right? Ollie is kind of that type of person,
For
right?
sure. For sure.
So
Steal everything from me.
and I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from you know taking over TSS is having people and other businesses that kind of are in that same parallel thing. Like for you, right? Like working with you, it makes sense, right? If you do better, I do better, right? And vice versa. And it's the same with him, so it's a cool thing. And I always say like anyone starting out in anything, whether it's business, content creation, whatever, having someone that you can kind of lean on and bounce ideas is really important.
Another guy, Stay Spoiled. I don't know if you ever seen him. Like,
Yeah, I
you
just
should.
sent him some.
So
I sent him stuff yesterday.
Zach, so I know Joel. Joel is one of my best friends, whatever. I love Joel. I love Zach too, because Joel introduced me to Zach when we was at SEMA, and Zach is so cool. But whole reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Stay Spoiled, Zach, he was the one that put me on that Will It Paint series. And he's like, bro, he's like, just paint something. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, I chromed a banana, and he's showing me how he chromed a banana, and he's just telling like Zach is the man, and just giving me, like you said, having that those people with like-minded mindsets, and then having someone you can bounce some ideals off of is
Yeah. I mean,
that's it,
dude,
bro.
and just seeing what works, especially in the content space, right? Seeing what works and then putting your own spin on it, right? Like
Hmm.
a lot of people, I got slack whenever I first debuted my car paint kits. And my response was always I'm not I'm not doing it to knock someone off, right? I'm the only person that's been this in depth when it comes to a car kit, right? The closest
Hmm.
thing, other than Fonzie, which is in a different industry, but the next closest is like I on Amazon you can buy a paint kit, right? And it's just base coat and
Hmm.
clear coat. There's no,
Right,
you know, okay, that's great. Like that's probably fine for like a small car that doesn't need primer, right? But like what about if you
right,
have a bigger car, right? Then how do you know you have to buy two kits or whatever. So
right,
I was
right.
trying to solve my own problem that I saw day to day. And I guess that comes back to on your content, how do you deal with bad comments or comments that you don't necessarily agree to? Do you lean into them or do you just kind of ignore them?
So in that sense, even in that field of catching slack of like, oh, I'm repeating, so I don't care. Like, it's first of all, it's not there. It's nothing is owned by somebody else. Second of all, all this money in the world, I can't get none too. Like, like it's, if you're that worried about it, then you for sure know then to buy the original because obviously you feel like it's better in some way or sort. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to it, it's quality of the product. You know, it's quality of the service. You know what I mean? So I mean they're gonna hate. Like I had them. I don't know if you ever seen, but like I always I don't get views on my videos hardly ever. But if I use the glass cleaner to write my name, it gets at least 10,000. You know what I mean? And there was a couple of other painters because we're in a group of there's a group of painters. You know what I mean? And they're all using glass cleaner and trying it. And like, why would I hate on them for doing it? Go ahead, bro. Like if that's helping me, like there's millions of. I've seen people with 3 million followers, and I've never seen this person in my life. That means there's 3 million. There's so many people
Yeah,
out there in the world
absolutely.
that'll love you for you.
Mhm.
So I mean, you don't own it. I don't care. And like you said, as long as I'm not trying to stand in your way and prevent you from
Exactly.
getting money, like it
Exactly.
shouldn't bother you.
No, I
So.
agree. And on that note, that was actually on my list of things to talk about. Your little signature that you do with the glass cleaner. How did that come to
Yeah.
be? And I guess honestly, that was one of the first things that made me gravitate towards you. Or actually,
I stole it from
that
Joel.
that's the first thing that I clicked one of your videos on was
Really?
you
That's
were
awesome,
writing with it. And
bro.
I was like, oh, I'm curious, like what he's gonna do with that.
Just right sauce. I mean, nothing's it's just I stole the glass cleaner ideal from Joel
Oh,
and
sure.
he got it I think from Humbled. But I mean, writing my name, I just was just making up some
You're just
stuff,
messing
bro. I
around.
just was Yeah, bro. I go off the hip, go off the wing, kind of what Joel said. I have an idea of what I want to do, and then it comes out how it comes out, and you just genuinely would not believe how well it comes out sometimes. Like you'd be like my videos, I mean I put effort, but sometimes the music just fits right and everything just goes together, bro. It just I get way more love than I feel like I should, bro, because it's literally the same glass cleaner writing my name. You know what I mean? So I really don't know what the big deal is about it. I'm very very grateful, but I don't know why. But I understand that. But there's so many. I get on there every day and I see painters with only 2,000 who's been painting longer than me who do better work than me. And I know it's how you present it, but it's just like they got their own thing too. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm just great. I don't know why people like me. I love it, and I'm so grateful, bro.
Okay. So
I really
so
am.
with that, what type of content are you planning on doing this year? Is it more of the same, or do you have any specific ideas that we can kind of tease to the audience, like things to look forward to? Are you wait?
Oh yeah,
Let me ask the most pressing question. Are you doing more of the will it paint?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So and then even though like because I haven't put will it paint in the caption, but like even like the jack stands or whatnot, it's just something quick. But like the Xbox controller, but I need to really take time out to go antique shopping, like what you told me to do, and I just really haven't had the time. I mean, yeah, no, just more content, bro, more custom work. I'm probably gonna put myself in more debt with my Mustang, so you can always look forward to that.
Is that going to be more long form, or are you still going to do mostly short form?
I always do long form. It's on my YouTube. Just people don't look at it.
Fair enough. I didn't know you had a YouTube, so that makes a lot of sense.
Right on. It's
Well,
okay. Hey, people
with
don't know.
I guess with that, why don't you do, like, for me, right? Like obviously I'm trying to build a web, right? You want
Hmm.
everything to kind of feed each avenue, right? Like having a
Hmm.
YouTube specific either promotion or video or whatever, right? Because like I don't see, obviously you're doing the YouTube videos, right? Are they shorts or are
Right.
they long forms or both?
No, they're long form.
Really?
And that's kind of what the Luma guys wanted me to start doing even more long form. But even before that, I've always did long form on like with my Mustang and whatnot. It's voiceovers, and then like I'll upload a video and then in the caption put you can look at it on my YouTube. And I understand I can do promotions, but I just genuinely I love this, Tommy. I love that I can have a friend like you. I love I have friends like Joel. I love that you guys send me stuff, but but I don't want to be like mean or like rude or anything. But I just don't care enough about it. You know what I mean? So if you want to, you can. But I'm just indifferent. You know what I mean? Like I want to. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice, but I get taken care of. Like the Lord is good. You know what I mean? God is good. As long as I keep moving forward, everything will definitely work out the way it's supposed to. I just need to obviously put forth more of the effort to get my YouTube bigger. So I'm not really tripping.
No, I'm with you.
It'll get
So
there.
when it comes to the long form, what? And I'm sorry I haven't seen it, but with the long
No,
forms,
you're fine, bro.
what
Don't apologize.
what type of content are you doing over there, and how is it different than your short form?
So it's just it is and then it isn't. So I just recently posted like a Toyota bumper and I just showed the full because it's raw prep. I showed how the Exalta products, the Speeds Hector from beginning to end. I'll show sometimes like maybe how I come to a variant. I'll show how to use like a HVLP gun because sometimes they'll over people like to turn up the HVLP gun to like 26 psi when it's more supposed to be at like 18 or 19. It's a high volume, low pressure, you know. So I'll do things like that. I've done things of like of my tape trick that I like doing on my leg. So it's almost the same as the short form because it is the same
That's
short form video, but
that
it's
sounds totally
longer.
different.
Like
That sounds totally different.
it's the same, but it's the same video though. It's like if you just watch me paint this blue Ford Focus, I literally put a 20-minute video on my YouTube, but of me just talking. I'm like, hey, make sure you get this spot with combi, you know. But it's just I don't like doing that, and I told like the Luma guys like I'm not the biggest talker, and then to keep repeating something. Like I listen to Joel, and you can sit there and listen to Joel all day because like he's dropping knowledge and facts. Like then I listen to myself, and I'm like, is it like the same?
It's the
That's just
same, dude. It's literally the same. Like a good example, right? Like even if I'm sure you've seen, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it now that we have the podcast, but you know, have you seen, I'm sure you've seen like the clipping from long form videos, right?
right, right,
Okay. So, but for you, your most of your short form is not a lot of talking. It's mostly just work with
correct,
music over top, right?
correct.
And it sounds like your long form is a lot more informative.
I talk all day.
Bro, just do your normal short form, right?
Yeah.
And then grab the long form and throw it into an AI editor and have it clip it.
So and then CapCut can do that too. I don't know. I just
Dude,
since I've always started with the short form and editing it, I just owe it like I just that's just how I do it. I
I
just always
mean,
edit my short form first and then edit my long form later.
are all of your short forms, most of them at least, do they all go with a long form or not all of them?
Not all of them. No.
A
It's
lot of
only
them
been
though?
recent since no, it's only been recent. It's only been since like November, like December, honestly,
Okay.
where I really got more into actually uploading more paint stuff. No, but in the future it will be, but not a lot.
Okay.
It's
Someone
probably like I think I've uploaded like five videos in December, and then I think I'm uploaded like six maybe in January,
Okay. I mean, dude, that's
maybe.
great.
Well,
I
not
but
a
with
lot.
that, dude, like you could triple or quadruple your content with a click of a button right there.
But I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I watch other people post the same car over and over. I don't like that, and I don't want to be that. I just don't care to be it. You know, I like I said, I love this, and like I said, people can love me for me. But I mean, if it takes me posting the same car like 10 seconds here, 10 seconds here, I mean, somebody else can. I just don't want to do that. I just don't. When I my friends make fun of me all day because I'm on Instagram looking at my page. I don't look at nobody else's page. I'm just watching mine, you know. So that's probably why that's probably not correct, but I mean, it's
No,
just
dude.
kind
I
of how it
mean,
goes.
it's really how you look at it, right? And from the outside in, right? If you're making long forms that are very clearly giving value, right? Not just for viewing, right? It's actually more, something people could potentially learn from. Those are the clips that I'm talking about. I'm not saying like repeat the same thing with different music or something, right? Like I was saying like clip like a good example, right? If you're doing a bumper job like you just talked about, right? You would clip talking about why you're masking this way, how you prepped it, right? And then do one clip on the spraying or whatever you talk about in the video. But like, for me, content has two meanings, right? One meaning is give as much value as possible, obviously, right? And the other one is entertainment. And your short form right now is 99% just straight entertainment.
Correct. I agree.
Is that by design or
I just do it, Tommy. I don't think about it. I just, Tommy. I don't like I said. I just do it. I just do it. I don't think about it. I like I said when I talk to Zach Stay Spooled and he's like, "Hey, do the will it paint?" Like I'm like, "Oh crap, I can do a series." I'm like, "Oh, you mind blown." I don't know. I just hey, bro. I wake up and I do it. Like and then like so and for me understanding you like I have the long form right, and then from the long form, I'm taking this, and then making it the short. But then I feel like I'm doing that now with the music. You know what I mean? But if you wanted me to do it with the talking, if you feel like that'd get better engagement, I can. That
I
makes
think
me no difference. It really don't.
for me, I feel like that would give more value, right? So I would have, I like I said, there's two buckets, right? And obviously, this is coming from someone that is not a big content creator, but I get a lot of reach purely because I spend a lot of money on ads, right? So I know what works ads wise, which also tends to translate to organic, right? And there's two buckets. One is you're giving value, right? Like a good example, the video that I did talking about painting in the cold weather, right? The amount of organic reach that got and the amount of comments and people saying like thank you for this or agreeing or disagreeing or whatever, right? Like that video did like 100,000 views and I didn't spend a dime, and that's a lot for me. I mean, dude, I have like 3,000 followers on Instagram, you know? I mean, that's a ton, and then the other ones are the entertainment value, right? Like the videos that are purely spraying or, like the dip your car ones, right? Like they're educational, but more of their long forms are, for entertainment.
So again, it just goes back to the like how you were saying. It depends on how you look at it and kind of like what do you perceive to be the best reach of your content? Because if you
Right?
feel like being informative is the best reach of your content, and now going back to where you said, is it like a design? It probably is a design for me just to put it out there because it's more of a engagement and ask questions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they've always seemed to get more engagement on like, hey, why are you doing that? And not talking. You know what I mean? Because like the only
Absolutely.
videos that I have that are viral, I've done voiceovers. I've had a
Yeah.
voiceover did like
Yeah.
500,000, but the one that did 1.4 million and the one that did 700K is just music
Yeah.
because
Entertainment
and I
value.
have but I have comments asking, "Hey, why are you doing this?
Yep.
And what is this for?" And
Exactly.
that's how I think because I know people likes can go one way, but if you get likes and comments, it just dries
That's
it
what
up, and
helps.
that's what I
For
try to
sure.
get comments. So it's
Yeah. And you
you know
you
what I
brought
mean.
up you brought up a good point. Like on Joel's, right, or Ollie's or Oli. I got corrected whenever I called him
What is it?
Ollie.
Ollie.
No, I
I
got
thought
corrected. It's Oli.
oh Oli. I just call him Joel because I
Yeah,
didn't know
me
how to say it, so
obviously.
I just say
Yeah.
Joel.
No, I'm just messing with him. I'm hoping he watches and remembers that he
Oh my god,
corrected
he's
me.
gonna be like
Very
this,
mad.
bro. He's gonna be like,
But anyways, almost all of his content, he's responding to a comment, right? You see it up in the top left, and those videos
correct,
do really well. So that's kind of
correct.
that's where my head was at for when it comes to educational stuff. So I,
No, that's
I
fine. And so, but when I and I want to do that, and I would love to do that, but like I just don't feel comfortable enough to talk like as Joel would talk because Joel knows what he's talking about. I just haven't been around the game that much.
fair
I've
enough.
only been around speeds and some industrial paint, and nobody's really asking about the industrial paint. They're only asking kind of like what's going on now. And then I
Right.
could tell you what I'm doing, but it's only like I only have this one certain way. Joel like give you, well, if you don't can't do it like that, you can do it like you know what I mean.
Sure. Okay.
So I just don't want
That's fair. You don't want
I
to.
don't want to put out any misinformation.
It sounds like you just don't want to have like what they call imposter syndrome, right?
Right. I just want to
Okay.
be myself, but I don't like I said, I just don't want to I hate leading people down a dark
Dude,
road, you know what
well,
I mean?
you need
Especially if I don't know.
all you gotta do is say that. Be like, dude, it might be the right way, it might be the wrong way, but this is how I did it, and this is why. I mean, bro,
I tell them that
be
they still
you.
get mad. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I show up and grab the gun and they let me.
So that comes back to right. I guess where we started this conversation, right? You're obviously doing prep work and paint work, right?
Right. Right.
But you're still technically a beginner, right? So when did you
Oh yeah.
actually start doing like collision work, not the industrial
When I
stuff?
got when as soon as I got out the industrial from doing like the cement truck, and I started working at that family owned shop right before we got bought out by Crash
And
Champions.
what's the timeline for that? Just so I can understand how long you've been doing it professionally.
Oh, okay. So I started industrial back at 2021. I got fired in 2022.
Okay. So really, you know,
No, 19. No, it was I bought I bought my Civic in 2020, and that was the year I got fired
okay.
from Marvin's. No, it wasn't, because I got it from Crash Champions. Yeah, my memory's so bad. Honestly, I haven't. It's probably been like from 18 to maybe 25, man.
Okay.
Like
But
from like 18 to
this job was like your first like real collision job, right? Or I guess the
N
one before
this
it.
is my first full-time spraying.
Okay.
Full-time spraying has been the last 3 years, and
Okay.
then 3 years before that, I was
Just a little bit of
full-time
both.
prepping, and
Yeah.
yes, and then so, like, what is that, 19, like,
Yeah.
ish, so
But like really
19,
3
20-ish is when I actually got into collision.
okay. But like 3 years full time, this is what you're doing and committing to.
Correct. This June will be the start of my 4th year painting full-time. But like I said, but I've been prepping even as an industrial when I was at the tow service in India. I was always a prepper. They always needed somebody to do the
Right.
scuff
And,
work.
and learning from, watching the other guys
Correct.
like you talked about in your other content and that kind of
Correct.
stuff. But in the
Correct.
grand scheme of things, you are still technically a new painter, right?
No, for sure. Oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. I like people because you're laughing. I'm like, no, you're laughing at people. Joel, you guys were talking at SEMA, and I'd be confused. I'd be like, I have no idea what they're talking about. I just go in there, and I mean, I try not to be an applicator. I try to figure it out, and you know what I mean, and do more than my job. But to stay in some of these conversations, you got to know what you're talking about.
For sure, for sure. Now, with that, obviously at your current shop, it's basically just you and then the body guy, right? You don't. There's no
Correct.
other painters. So,
No.
who are you leaning on other than Joel? What content or people are you leaning on to learn the industry or problem solve or what? Do you have like a good jobber that's helping you with like your specific stuff? No.
No.
Okay.
I don't even have a tech rep that hardly comes see me. The tech rep that sees
Really?
me is like once a month, and he's not even for my shop. Correct. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we hardly do any business. And them guys don't. Nobody cares. Like we don't have tool trucks to stop. You know what I mean? The one person that helped me, I honestly, it's unfortunate. I don't know his name, but I struggled terribly to blend colors when I started this. And there was just one guy on YouTube, and I literally unfortunately don't know his name, but I can type in how to blend Speeds Hector High Tech, and I guarantee you his videos will pop up because he had like 100K after like 10 years. But you just start with like an orientation coat, and he just told me, and that's ever since I've been doing that. That's why I just do the reverse blend and the 3 steps, and because Speeds Hector just seems to cover really really well. So if you go crazy with it, you'll notice your blend.
It's
So
like
you got
too
to kind of
much,
start.
right?
Yeah, you got to start really far back, man. But I was just struggling. I mean, no, Greg was. I mean, my boss was still sending him home. Nobody was complaining
No, of
ever.
course. No, but I'm
Nobody.
with
I
you.
mean,
But
I
you always
hardly.
want to get better, right? Like,
Bro,
and
I knew for a fact that it
for
was
sure,
wrong. You know what I
for sure.
mean? And then, but like I said, unfortunately, I don't know his name. But I got on YouTube,
Well,
watched a couple of videos, man.
yeah, I'll
I
confirm with you
just
after this, and we'll throw it up on as we were just talking about it in the final. Yeah. So I guess when you're well, let's lean into that, right? So what did you exactly learn from that, other than just starting back? Did you in his video did he talk about like adding extra binder to make it a little thinner or more transparent? Because I know Joel did a video talking about that. Or like, are you doing wet beds or
Yeah, so actually the guy that taught me how to do collision work, like paint collision, he gave me a lot of those tricks as well, like cutting your base with wet bed and thinning it out, you know what I mean? And so I mean, I kind of already knew some things, but I mean, he helped me he helped me to realize like just start farther back as an orientation code, and just to, like I said, squeezing my trigger as I'm getting closer. How to fix modeling. He has a specific a video on how he literally messes up a blend. It's real
on purpose?
modelly,
Yeah.
and then he wet beds the whole thing, cuts it in half, the base with the blender, and then does a re blends it and then reorientates it to kind of mesh it together. You know, so I just learned like little things like that. But I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this is, and the reason why I get a guarantee, even though I don't work a lot, is because I figure it out. I really don't, you know what I mean? Like it's paint. It's not that hard. it's,
Yeah, I mean
it really
that's
isn't
gonna
that.
that's gonna trigger some people, right? But
No,
I
don't
tend
do
to
it that.
agree. I mean, in all reality, is
It's
it
not.
most things in life I have found is not difficult. It just
No,
takes
if you're
work.
taught.
It just takes work.
You just have to be taught, like, any you could pretty much almost do anything, you just have to be taught correctly and just put the time in to do it to be good at it, you know? Colors are hard, silvers are hard, tri-stages can be hard, but, I mean, painting isn't hard, really.
It's just technique and then trial and error. In all reality,
You have to mess up, you
yeah.
have to mess up, that's the only way you're gonna get better, so, I mean.
So that leads into my next question. Thank you for setting me up.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I'm sure I know you listened to the podcast before it came out with Joel. One of the questions I asked was, what is one project that you can think about that you can think back
Yeah,
to
I
that was
remember
like
this, I
the
remember this.
hell project? Because like
Oh, I got so
obviously,
many, so
okay,
many.
let's hear it. What's the main one, and what type of job was it?
Oh, it was a tri-stage white. It was on an expedition. It was AZ, which is the Ford's new tri-stage white. So it's like, and then like, so I'm in the shop, and shop, like I said, in the middle of nowhere. They didn't even have internet in the paint in the shop. So I'm taking pictures, and it's pulling something from a local file, and the guy comes, picks up. I guess I probably had a handful of color issues, and this was my very first one. The guy came to pick up a radar detector, and he's like, I'm not a painter, but I just don't think that's right. So yeah, I was like, it is a little bit lighter. I could see that's hot, but then I finally took a camera shot with it being on the internet, and then it came out okay.
Okay, so it
I've
was a
had
blend. It was a blend issue.
no, I painted the whole side of the. I think I might have blended it the first time, but I think the second time I painted the whole side. So it
Okay.
wasn't a blend. I panel painted it because it was
Oh,
from fender all the way to
gotcha.
so I think it was more of the fender to the hood.
Gotcha.
You know what I
Yeah, so
mean?
just the
So
match itself. And the match you were just
just
using the
too light.
factory code.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I was just using the standard variant. I think that's because like when I went to that computer with no internet, that's all it pulled. So I didn't even think there was another variant. So like when I sprayed it out, that was the best thing that looked like it. So and then he's just like, I don't like it. So at that point, I have to try to see if there's something more. And then I'm like, is there a possibility we can get on the internet back here? And then once the internet hit, it picked up a toner that I didn't even have on my cabinet, my mix bank. That's what did it. As soon as I put there's like 302, it's like it's a sparkle, but it's the yellow in the pearl. But that as soon as I put that in there, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was missing. So, but I can go on all day. My Mustang was a project I wish I never started. I mean,
Oh,
I can
come
go on all
on.
day. Oh
So
no, it's been terrible.
I one thing you said kind of triggered something inside of me. So it talks
Oh no.
about no, it's kind of a good thing. I kind of want to use this as a time to kind of uh teach some people some stuff. So when it comes to the standard variant, right, in the OEM
Okay.
world, even if it's how new was that car? Was it a fairly new car? It had to have been because it was a
It was brand new.
yeah. So
Yeah.
even a standard variation, which comes directly from the manufacturer,
Correct.
didn't match.
Oh no. No.
So
You should see the bumpers from factory.
I know, but the reason why,
These people spend $50,000 on these
bro,
cars and don't even
it's crazy.
look at the bumper.
I know. I know. But it's even crazier. Like, let's say it is like a 2023, right? And it gets in an accident. You still have to
Mhm.
blend that fender because
Correct.
the formula you get as a manufacturer, because I'm coming from a paint company, right? That
Mhm.
formula that I get directly from, let's say, Ford, right, is the
Mhm.
standard variation, which somehow matches some of the cars, but not all of them, right?
Right, because it's all about how it's sprayed.
Well, it's so much, or which factory it did, what sealer they used,
The environment.
what
Correct. No,
so many different
exactly.
things. And one thing I learned recently was like a good example, and I'm not going to name who told me this, but they're a rep for some products that get sold directly to Honda USA. So some of their cars are sanded with 3M products. Some of them are sanded with a different product. Some of them are painted with a Exalta product. Other ones are painted with a different product.
That's why they had so many that was probably failing. Them tri-stage whites that were just was
I'm not
falling
getting
off.
into
I
it.
mean,
I'm not. I know.
falling.
I know. I know.
It was
But
falling. See, oh my god, it was so bad, Tommy.
I know. But it comes back to, obviously, as you know, at SEMA I launched my OEM match paint, right? And
Hmm.
we've had mostly great results from it, right? People are like, "Oh, it matches dead on. Like it was great. I was able to blend it out. Like, our colors are meant to be either perfect matches or, I say, blendable matches, because in all reality, right, we're going to have colors similar to that."
The best color match, Tommy, is a blend.
I agree.
Period. Point blank. The
I agree.
best color match is a
Yeah,
blend.
especially on old cars. I mean, dude, like you kind of have to on old cars, because if they're
No,
fading
not
out or
new.
whatever.
Oh, blended.
Yeah.
Blended.
I mean, I agree. But with that, right? Like some of those colors, like I had it, and I don't really care if they watch this or not. They were upset that it was some BMW super rare color, right? And it was an older car they were trying to spray, right? Which very well could have been a respray, because they showed me the panel that they were trying to match,
Could
and
have been faded. It could have been faded. You know,
it was faded. The clear coat was already flaking off, which tells me was most likely a repaint. And then also
something cheap.
they painted it directly over the black ABS plastic, no sealer, on a bright
Stop
blue,
playing.
So I was like, of course it's not going to match. I was like, you need to, it says right in the description, it's a blendable match, right? Which, no hate for them, because like there's a bunch of people that do that, especially the DIYers that don't know better, right? And I got to do a better job explaining that. But and I'm kind of using this as kind of a video to
So they
explain that.
so they ended up painting the whole thing, or they
It was
panel
one
painted it.
part. It was one part. It was like a little grill piece that like went
What?
around it. Yeah. So
First of all, if anybody watching this gets mad because a little small piece doesn't match, like you have to blend it. Then I mean, like plastic pieces don't match as it is, and then like you're getting like all these variants.
I know.
It's not gonna match.
And you need
It's
to
not
seal it.
going to.
Yeah, our OEM colors specifically are meant to go over a light gray sealer. That's how I've developed our
Wait,
OEM system, which I'm sure
if
most
they
are.
didn't seal it, if they didn't seal it, will it not peel later?
It depends on the prep and depends. I mean, overall, yes. I mean, you should at the very least adhesion promote, but yes, you should seal.
I was taught if you don't have sealer, the paint's gonna fall off, and I've seen when they don't put sealer, the paint falls
And
off.
it
So
definitely happens. It definitely happens, especially on ABS plastic, which was kind of what I had said. They're like, "Oh, well, there's no instructions on the can." I was like, "Well, okay, I'll definitely work on that." But that being said, we sell over 150,000 colors, and they're all different.
do you not have a TD? Don't you have a
Oh yeah,
TDS?
of course, yeah, and I have a video, but at the same
But
time, it's not on the
why
can.
buy a product and look at the instructions and then go for it? That is nuts.
I mean, I tend to agree, but that's also coming from someone that is in the paint world and knows better, right? I've also been
No,
that guy.
that is,
I've been that guy that went to remodel a good example, totally off topic. I went to remodel my bathroom for my girl, and she was like, "All right, let's do it." And I just winged it, right? And I found out that I did the tiling completely wrong, and I had to redo it all, right? So I've been that guy,
right.
so I get it. So that kind of comes
But
back to
did you read
me.
the instructions? But did you read the instructions?
There was no instructions.
So listen, but at the end of the day, you chose not to Google it. You chose not to read it, and that's fine. And you're happy with that result. And you're coming to me. You're telling me, hey, I messed up. I have to redo it. It's okay. That man was not coming to you like that. He was like, hey, I didn't Google this. I didn't read no instructions. I just guessed. And hey, that's your job to fix it. It should be easy. Like, bro, what? You didn't put forth not one single step
I hear you.
of
I hear
research.
you. I hear
You know what I mean?
you.
I agree with you, Tommy. You
Yeah.
really have to hold some people's hands, but I mean, at some
It,
point you have to start cooking with your own grease, bro.
to a point, yeah, but like it comes back to the perceived idea, right? Especially in the OEM world. If you are buying a product that is your factory color in your head, and I understand the thought process, it's unfortunately just not.
100%.
It's just not the truth. That
100%.
you think that color should be exactly the same. I should be able to just paint that product, and it should be exactly the same.
I think that.
I think that's how it should be. It's unfortunate that it
I
can't be
agree.
that way.
I agree.
Yeah, there's just too many variations because, like we said, the OEM manufacturer has the standard variation, which is the only thing I mix on the website. So everything on my OEM match is standard.
But I always wondered how you did that too. I was
Mhm.
wondering how you were mixing that too. So I
I
mean,
just do the standard. Yep. And what
but you
I'm
most of the standards blend though. I
They
mean,
do, which is the idea behind it, right? But then obviously there's those one-off situations, which is why I sell small samples that people can get and do a spray out card, right? Because maybe it needs a different sealer than gray, right? Maybe you need to tweak it a little bit. And then another thing that yeah, and then another thing I'm working on figuring out how to do, I want to offer a tint kit. So like if you buy a gallon of, or let's say a quart, because you're going to be blending a side or something, right? You buy a quart of, let's say, BMW Yas Marina, which is like a light blue, right? And it's normally, from my experience, the standard variation is close, but it's not exact, right? It's usually a little bit lighter. So having a tint kit, which might have like half an ounce of all of the toners in the color, you could then tweak it to match it, right?
mm, that's dope.
I think that would be, and again, that's also something that people don't do right now, right? Obviously you're either getting it online, which is the standard variation, like what I'm doing, right? Or you're going to a jobber store and then they're asking, "Oh, what's your variation?" Or they're camera shotting it, right? So I'm doing two different things that I'm working on, I guess, counteracting that, right? One is offering the tint kits, right, which I think is going to be a really beneficial thing for a lot of people. And then also, and this is way down the line, so no one hit me up to do this right now, but at some point I want to offer the ability to have people send me parts and then I camera shot it. Right? Wouldn't that be cool? So that's in my roadmap, but like obviously there's a lot of moving parts with that. To try and figure that out.
Would you be able to build like a database from them pictures?
Yes, I could. But the problem with it is like the current, in my head at least, right? Because I've worked with a lot of different systems, and I'm sure you've worked with. Have you only worked with SPIs, or have you worked with others?
No, I before I started working at my job now, I quit like 8 shops. So
Oh, okay.
I work
So you've worked with
I've been
others.
around everything.
Okay, cool.
Oh, everything.
Okay. So, and
Everything.
most of those, like their database, right, has
Mhm.
like you could have like 15 variations, right? And
So you can have the company's variants, and then they also have variants
uploads
other painters made if you
from
want as
uploads.
well. So yes,
Exactly.
you're right. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So that's kind of, I want, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it better. So it would have to be some sort of, if I camera shot it, right, I would get the year, make, model, paint code, and then I would have a photo of that car as is before the paint. That way it kind of helps two and two, right? Because then you're able to see like, oh, the car I have is more like this versus the standard. You know what I'm saying?
I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. No, and that's almost like a letdown panel. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yeah, yeah, and obviously that's a big undertaking, software wise,
oh for
labor
sure.
wise, and everything. So it's a balancing act. Like, especially with what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to focus on different things, but at the same time, I need to prioritize certain stuff. Like right now, my big push, and I'm sure you've seen and you will definitely be seeing soon, is I'm pushing TSS Professional. So it's my wholesale site, which is separate, and it's
Correct.
for the whole idea is I want to be able to help small businesses and people that are techs and shops like you get more jobs, right? So I'm working on an installer map which allows people to see the space, see previous reviews, see all of that, and then click a button and say there's like 5 people in your area that are using our products, right? And you can press this, get me a quote.
That's cool. Okay.
I'm really
That's
excited for it.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that though, because when I open up my shop using your products, I don't want nobody better know. I don't want them to know I got competition, bro. Like somebody. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The idea is more some jobs like we talked about, right? Like that Honda that I talked about, like he was unhappy
Mhm,
that it looked too good on one side versus the other, right? That
mhm,
job, you said right away, I don't want that job, right?
mhm.
That's kind of the idea behind this, right? There's a ass for every
You're
seat.
so smart, Tommy.
There's an ass for every seat. So there's a lot of
Yo,
people like I can't think of his name. I think it's JR Garage or whatever, and he does really low end quick jobs.
that's not his. That's not his name. I know his name. I'm not gonna say it, but
Okay.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
We all know who you're
Okay.
talking about, but I
Whatever.
don't.
That being said, I know he gets a lot of slack, and I definitely agree with a lot of the slack when it comes to doing stuff
For sure,
correctly.
but it's a reason why he does it the way he does it. So
And
I never gave him.
he's in the business because there's customers that want that quality and that price point. I'll
For
leave it
sure,
at that, right?
I get it all. Listen, Tommy, listen to me. That's we gonna run this back because that's literally what you just said. You said, "Hey, you just said you didn't want you don't want that customer," and I tell people that all the time. Like they're like, "Can you just tape up my grill and tape up my?" I don't want you. No, take that down the street, and I know the perfect guy for
Right,
you. And
exactly.
I think, and he does good work for the price you pay him. Because if you paid me that, I wouldn't do it that good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Like
And that comes back to my installer map, right? I'm gonna have every single person that applies to be on it, right? There's a questionnaire,
mhm.
right? And there's going to be photos of their facilities if they have them, or I'm going to have the option for mobile. I'm going to have the option for people to choose a side hustler, right? Someone that doesn't have overhead, doesn't have insurance, doesn't have that, right?
That'd be so cool.
It,
That's
it
so
it's
cool, Tommy.
there's some customers that won't want that, right? Obviously. And then there's other
Yeah.
customers that would be cool with it if the price is better and the quality's still decent, right? There's different, the main thing is I want to be as transparent as
Mm.
possible, and I want to put the right asses in the right seats. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that's the best way I can think
Yeah.
of it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Direct business and where it's supposed to go. You're
Yeah.
what is it called? Triaging basically.
I don't want to waste
Yeah.
anyone's time, right? If
Yeah. I
someone
don't either.
comes, if someone wants to put in an inquiry, right, you're going to know right away, hey, this job fits me or it doesn't, right? And you can
Correct.
instantly say, no, thank you, sorry, whatever. That's not the type of job we do. This is what we do. If you're interested in this, this is where we start, right? And with that, I'm also going to have, obviously, like in that questionnaire, it's going to be what's your hourly rate for each job.
I was just gonna ask about that as
So I'm
well.
going to have like a pre-inquiry quick estimate as well,
Right.
which is a
Okay.
hard thing to do, but I think if I can do it right, it's going to save a lot of people a lot of time because obviously, especially small businesses, they probably don't
Yeah.
have front end office people that are fielding questions or able to answer technical questions, especially when it comes to jobs or estimate jobs or whatever. So hopefully that will help solve that too.
I can't help to think, but how much more professional that would make somebody look too. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
If I didn't have, you know what
yeah,
I mean, that just
no, for
makes it
sure.
seem that much more. And they don't even know that it's a third party website, but that's what everything is anyway. It's a third party
Yeah,
QuickBooks, all that.
yeah,
You know what I mean. So
yeah.
what does it matter?
Well,
Hey, I'll run it with it. I'm
yeah,
running with
right. And like,
it.
and that's kind of my thing is like in the custom world, which I know you're more in the collision, but I'm sure you've at least seen it. Most of the custom
Right.
stuff is people are just throwing out prices. They don't have a book to go by. They don't do line items,
100%.
time and material, that kind of stuff.
100%.
Unless you're like a really high-end restoration shop, you're just throwing money, you're just throwing price out there to get the job in the door, which I don't. Hey, get the bag, right? But at the same time, I've been that shop that just gave out a price and then got screwed because it took me 3 times as long as I expected, right?
I literally watched a video. Ryan Turbo Durban
Durbin,
literally
yep.
just that's my boy. He's so cool. I literally just watched a video and he said, if you're out here giving out estimates on a restoration right out the door, he said, I do not want you don't want no parts of that. He's like, I have to break this down. I have to see, it's always something with something else. Yeah. And even doing my Mustang, like I replaced everything, every panel on that except the roof. And I can replace the roof just because of how bad it is as well. I mean, I have a whole new car. And if I would have quoted somebody just for the floor pans and it rusted out the dash too, and I had to replace the frame rails to get to the dash, and then
There's
I'd
no
be
such
crying.
thing. There's no such thing as a blanket quote, in my opinion. It's all time and material. You can be like, hey, this is what it should cost, but
I'll give you a guesstimate.
but it needs to be broken down, in my opinion,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Because and that does two things, right? It gives the customer the idea like, oh, this is where the value is, right? This is how long it takes. This is why this costs that, right? So that helps
Yeah.
A, sell the job, or B,
Yeah.
completely knock out a specific type of customer and avoid an issue
Wasted
later on.
time. You feel me? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the idea is, and again, that comes back to I'm one of few business owners that, sell paint, that actually work and think about and want to innovate the industry. And this is one of the main ways that I'm trying to do it this year is I want to help small businesses because obviously that's who I support on TSS already, right? And they're who support me. So I want to give back to them. And then also I want to help them get more jobs. And then also the end user who doesn't really, they might be thinking, oh, I want to go to Mako to get a custom paint job. That's not who you should be going to, right?
You should be coming to us.
Yeah, dude. Or to get a better quality and someone that actually knows custom, one of those side hustlers, dude. Like, you know how many people that are professionals, but they do it out of their home garage or whatever, right? They're doing jobs for people and they're doing really good quality stuff and they know the custom world. Like Mako's a collision shop. Let's not get it twisted. Collision and custom is not the same, as you know.
Right. No, it's not. Not even the same ballpark.
Right. So
I
like
agree.
giving that variation while also giving them options to more affordable, right? For certain types of customers, I think is going to be a really beneficial thing for the industry.
I'm sitting here thinking too because like they can almost. I mean, like they're literally like, hey, this customer isn't even for me, but this one is, and I can choose. Like that's gonna
That's the
be
idea.
so perfect. I mean,
That's
like,
the idea.
and then some people do like custom work, really, really good stuff, but don't get views on Instagram because it's how you present yourself. So you that's a fantastic idea, Tommy. I don't know how you keep coming up with this stuff. It's like every time I talk to you, you got something better and better in the works, bro.
I attribute
Be on the
that to
ball.
my ADHD. I'm gonna be completely real. Like, dude, you should
You're selling some
see
of that?
the dude. I wish I could bottle it. People, it gets a bad rap, but like if you can control it right, dude, it's like a freaking superpower.
It's all right. It happens.
All right, so I guess I'm sure you got to go, and I know I still have to get some work done today, but
I
we're
don't, but we can get off this.
not yet, not yet. I still got a couple questions. I
Come
want
on,
to.
I got all day.
Fair enough. Well, before I move on to my next things, do you have anything you want to specifically talk about?
Nah, man. Like I said, I'm just thankful that you even want to have a podcast with me. I'm thankful that you talked to me at SEMA and let me at your booth. Thankful that you send me stuff. I'm very thankful for Luma and everybody else, man. I'm just very thankful and I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I think the industry is trending in the right direction, especially with the people that we're surrounding both of ourselves with. And I
Correct.
really, really like the team that we're building, in
Yeah.
general, which I
Yeah.
that's my second goal of this year is to really expand the team, but also help other people collaborate with other people more, right? Like a good example, like, Ollie obviously already works with you, but like Ollie working with Dip Your Car could be really cool, right? That could be a good
I
collab.
gave I gave a Sun Pro to stay spoiled
Yeah,
from
there you go.
Luma. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude,
yeah,
same idea.
but I like that you sent him some because I literally was gonna. If I knew you did powder coat it, I would have been said
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Because we hang out pretty much all the time, man. That's my
Oh, okay. So
dog,
he's
and so
local to you.
cool. Oh, he's right
Oh,
down the street. Yeah, we
no, I
go.
didn't know that.
Hey, we kick it. Yeah, my dog. That's my dog. We kick
No
it.
shit. Okay.
He's so cool.
Yeah, you'll have to chat
Yeah,
with him.
yeah.
Well, I guess I talk with him on Instagram now, but I'll have to have him on the podcast too because I don't know a whole lot about powder coating, and I'm sure the audience might be interested too because it kind of goes hand in
Yes,
hand.
he's he's a super cool guy, fantastic, and knows the internet and
That's
like he'll be
cool.
a great guy to bounce out. Like
Yeah,
you'll
that'd
love,
be
trust me,
that'd be really cool.
you'll love him.
Yeah,
Trust
because
me.
like the whole premise of this podcast is bring light to people that I really find either inspiring or just in
Appreciate it.
general someone that really just people that I think is good for the industry as a whole, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
whether it's content creation or a small business or a type of product or someone that just has good ideas or whatever, right? And that's the whole idea about this podcast. It's not necessarily about TSS, right? My company. It's more for me, it's to help
Hmm.
the industry as well as be entertaining to the viewers and hopefully people learn something, right? And I think
I hope so,
I would learn something from someone that, does powder coating because I don't know anything about it.
for sure. And dude. He's the man, bro. He
Okay.
really is, man. He really is.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to run through 10 colors that I think you've probably done. And I want you to pick which one you prefer and why. Okay. So
All right.
we kind of did it a little bit earlier, but I have a few colors that I'm curious your thoughts on, and obviously I know you've seen most of them. Either you've sprayed them or you've seen them at SEMA. So
Correct.
scorched apple versus the traditional candy apple red.
Scorched apple.
Why?
Uh, the scorched just seems to have a little bit more like vibrance in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I like the candy apple red, but it's more of a the candy apple isn't it more of a like a darker red, and the scorched apple is kind of like on the brighter side with a hint of orange. It seems like
Yeah, I mean they're about the same shade, right? But
Correct.
scorched definitely has like the color shift, right? Because it has like the gold, the
Correct.
oranges, and like that kind of stuff. But for the most part, scorched is based on the candy apple red, but I wanted to have kind of my own twist, right? So
Right.
you like the twist aspect. For me,
Correct. And that's why I look the color shifts are my favorite,
sure,
hands
okay,
down.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, then
So
you're
you
gonna
like the
be.
more subtle aspect of it, huh?
It's more honestly the main reason why I prefer scorched is because it's easier to spray and match. Point blank.
That's it.
Yeah, that point blank. That's honestly the main reason because like everyone loves candy apple red, dude. Like everyone loves candy apple red.
It
But
I you remember me calling you about that side project the
yeah,
guy wanted
yeah,
candy apple,
of
right? Like,
course,
you're right, yeah, they love
everyone.
it. They love it. Yeah.
But as soon as they hear, hey, if you get a scratch, you got to repaint the whole car. They're like, what?
They're like, "What?"
What? I was like, yeah, you can't like. And people in the comments are gonna be like, oh, I've blanded candy since the '70s. Yeah, sure, okay. I bet you have, but it's not perfect and it's not easy. Let's be real.
Not this candy,
Right.
bro.
Right.
This ain't your regular run of the mill.
You're right. Right. So, all right. So the next one, because I know you brought up Cascade Blue, um,
Okay.
versus my Mystic Blue.
So I have not seen Mystic Blue.
Oh, okay.
Mm, yeah,
It's
I haven't seen Mystic. Like, if any of the blues, like I said, it would be like Ravine, it'd be Sea Glass, it would
Sea
be
Glass is a good one.
Hydra. Bro, Sea Glass, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, bro,
it's like a
that
tealish.
Joker was yeah, and it was
Yeah.
jumping, bro. Like I have 'cause I did
A puck of
coasters.
it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, I did a set of coasters. I don't know if you see, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
did Ghoul. Yeah, so
That's cool.
yeah,
What's the
and
purple one?
the purple one was
That's what I thought.
lavish. Yep.
Left plum.
But it's just so, and it was just unfortunate because like when Craig asked me like online, he was like, what colors are
Oh
they?"
yeah,
And
that's cool.
I kind of didn't want to tell him because it didn't really look like the colors of them actually sprayed out. You know what I mean? But
So
I thought it was cool.
no, that is cool, dude. So on those, did you seal them and then paint them, or what'd you do?
Uh huh.
Yeah,
I just sealed them. It's some regular coasters that I just had, so I just sealed them, and then like I said, it was just sea glass. It was
elegance something.
s-
Yeah,
cucumber
cucumber.
elegance.
Yep, yep.
Yep, and then this was
And
ghoul,
goal.
of course, and
Yep.
then my
And then
lavish.
the
What was it? Lavish plum.
yeah, yep. Which is kind of like a
Yeah,
reddish purple pink plum type of color.
and it's just you kind of see it when I was
Yeah,
moving it, but
yeah,
it was just unfortunate because it doesn't look like the website, and that's why I wasn't sure like if I should label these with the colors or whatnot because
bro.
it's you know what I mean I know it might
It,
be my
it it
technique.
it comes back to what I said earlier, right? Real life.
And that's why I just uploaded it. I loved it.
Yeah,
I have fun, and I don't care.
right. No, for sure, dude. Absolutely. Okay, so what are two greens that you've sprayed that are not color shift? Have you sprayed any of those, like Gump Green or no?
I've I've sprayed I've sprayed the hazmat and I've
Oh, okay,
sprayed
so you
green
sprayed hazmat.
elegance
Okay, so
and green elegance.
on hazmat versus the green elegance, what style do you like better and why?
So my car is almost the same color as hazmat, so I do like the hazmat. I'm not a big fan of the elegance because I'm not a big fan of the silvers.
Silvers.
I just don't like silver. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I love that silver can have so many hues, though. You know what I mean? Like you could sit there,
That
like
was the idea
I
behind it.
love that. But I love the green hues and I love the purple hue because I can notice it. But the cucumber and the silver champagne is almost like it's just too close for me to really like for me to like it. You know what I mean? I do like the different hues in it. But if anything, like so I'm more of the color shift guy.
I hear you.
It's
Which
gets me, man.
hazmat has a sick color shift, which most people can't
Yes,
tell. But like it has
it's yellow pearl, isn't it?
no. So
Is it yellow
yes,
pearl in it?
it no, dude. It's literally a
No,
color shift. It is gold, it's
what?
green, it's teal, and it's blue. You can only see it at like really sharp angles. or on like bigger panels, right? Like if you did like a full car, you could really see it. But it's more of like a ghost
So what?
effect.
Well, like, and then like when I did my that CU-29 over my Mustang door, like I don't. That's that art. Those samples really aren't enough for me to get
Yeah, you
full
need to have a
coverage on
little
that
more.
door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then so I'm for me to actually see the actual color of it too is because I did the hazmat, I sprayed it out, but it came out so modelly because of the panel is
Yeah, it was too
so
big.
big, and then I
Yeah, I
don't have
remember.
enough, so I had to do a darker color over it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I've painted my Mustang parts a couple of times, and
It's so
I
funny
remember
to
the
me.
sun drop.
Oh yeah.
You remember the sun drop
Oh
I
yeah.
did? I mean, I was like, I don't like it. The truck, he was like, I don't see it too much, but I mean, I can understand you could need another coat, you know. So
Well,
I got to
four
paint
ounces.
something,
Well, I mean, that's why that's why you pivoting to like the smaller parts and that kind of stuff is a cool thing.
but they don't reflect. But they really don't reflect like that. You know what I mean? And it's some hit and some miss, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Right in the middle.
Now, all right. So this will be the last big question that I have. So obviously, you
Mhm.
just finished the bike with the bike paint kit
Yeah,
in the midnight
yeah,
purple.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what? How
I
was
had a
that process? First off, how did you like that kit?
so first of all, I had a guy that asked me to do his Corvette Midnight Purple 3 as well before you even sent me this. So you had no idea, you sent me this Midnight Purple 3 and I'm like this guy's going to love it. So taking apart the bike was the hardest part, bro. Like the kit is easy, like it's
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
so so maybe you can help me understand your products a little better because it
Yeah,
says 2K on the clear and on the sealer, but from what I understood, like the 2K has an activator at the bottom or whatnot, and even so, it can be like where you press the button at the top and it activates, but it doesn't. You're like I could still use your clear a week later on like some more smaller parts. Like what's up with that?
yeah. So Car Rep is the brand that you're specifically talking about, and those products are considered 2K. So basically, on the normal traditional 2K cans, which I'm going to be launching here soon as well. But you have a button
Right,
on the bottom which then mixes the hardener with the clear in the can, right? The
right.
car wrap stuff, think of it like this. There's two tubes, they mix at the tip.
Thought so. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. At least that's my understanding from it.
No, that's all you gotta, and that's it doesn't need to be like I don't need the I just need to kind of like
Yeah.
understand it like but the base coat itself, bro, like everybody in my shop, we only got 4 people, but they were all dumbfounded on how it came from a can. And that's what baffles me because like you've seen so many, I mean, you hear about guys putting candy paint jobs and all color shifts and you hear how they all have to do it a certain
Yeah,
way
dude.
and I have to
Yep.
maneuver. Nah, bro, I got this in a can and I
Yeah.
just
It's simple.
I
Yeah.
was done. Yes,
Yeah.
bro.
You
I
know, and that
love it.
and that's
It was a fantastic.
Yeah, dude, it came out really, really good. And like that's one thing that I pride myself on as well is like most of my colors, not all of my colors, but most of my colors are designed to be super easy to spray to the point that almost anyone could do it.
What wouldn't be easy?
Like a diamond like diamond purple. Have you sprayed that at all? Or played with any of my
No.
diamonds? So my diamonds are more of a mid coat, right? So they're semi-transparent. They're translucent, right? So they're a lot easier to stripe or model or whatever, right? And then obviously there's also that point that you can do too much, and it starts whiting out because it's a white based pearl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like those are a lot more difficult, right? Obviously, I sell traditional candies; those are more difficult, right? But then like colors like Cascade Blue or Scorched Apple, those give a candy effect without the difficulty,
Yes.
and that's kind of
And that's
where
if I was to do, I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, if I was to do any type of candy, like I would do a candy based pearl from you. And that's the only reason why I would even offer that as a side job, just because
yeah,
of my fear of striping it or whatnot, and how long it takes. But the pearl base, I mean, that's so much easier, dude. And it looks just as good. I love it.
right, and that's kind of my thing is I've developed a formula that kind of combines toners, candies, and pearls it, that make it look like candy, right? And there's like House of Colors, right? They have their candy base coats, right? But they're still a translucent base coat, right? So it's relying on like it's like it's 90% candy with like 5% of pearl, which the pearl makes it a little bit easier to spray, right? But you can still stripe it, right? You spray two, like if you put two coats here and one coat here, this is going to be different, right? My scorched apple, once you get full coverage, you get full coverage, right? That's the difference with a candy.
Oh, that's dope.
So
That's
that's
dope.
that's what really makes my colors really different, is because they're more opaque, right? Meaning they cover. So once you get full coverage, you get full coverage. Whereas every other candy on the market, every single brand, every single one, they're translucent, which by design gives them more depth and that kind of stuff, right? But they are still way harder to spray. Granted, candy pearls, like the House of Color candy pearls, are significantly easier than their traditional candy, which is a 2K candy
Correct.
over silver,
Correct.
right? So,
Correct. Because
it's
that's you have to go slow with that. It takes so you cannot put that on heavy. You're going to stripe it.
right,
And then once you get that stripe in it, you're not gonna get that out, bro. It's
right, right. Yeah, for sure. So cool. I'm obviously making. I know I told you a little bit, but I'm making some big changes in my spray can offerings for multiple different reasons. But hopefully by the time, because this will be next week's episode, hopefully by the time this video comes out, I'm debuted my new 2K products. So I have what clears of mine have you played with? Has it only been the rapid clear? Yeah. So the clear that I sent to Joel, which I'll get you some too, the my HS Glamour, the 4521, I put that into a spray can. Literally that clear.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
like
cool,
literally that
bro.
clear coat. Right. So that
So can you put
specific
anything? Can you put? I'm sorry. Can you put anything in a spray can?
for the most part. So
Okay.
yeah, yes and no. So the 2K can that I developed, it's a 2-to-1 mix ratio. So any product that's a 2-to-1 mix ratio, yes. I'm working on getting a 4-to-1 mix ratio. That way I can do like my rapid clear.
Oh, that would be sick.
Right.
Now, I don't think that nobody has a rapid clear in a can, do they?
Most spray cans, like even like the car rep one, that's a rapid clear because it dries so fast. Right?
Makes sense. Makes
They
sense.
don't
Makes
call it
sense.
that, but yeah. But like
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I my 4521 is the first like high solid glamour clear that I know of in a can, right? Like if you look up
Mhm.
like the only other like what's the spray can company? Um do you know who I'm talking about?
Duplicolor
No,
or
no, no, no,
Duplicolor or
no. The ones that you can find at like jobber stores. Let me
at
look here.
where?
Like jobber stores.
Like Biotech?
Spray
The
Max.
Biotech?
Spray
Spray
Max.
Max. Never heard of it.
You've
Never
never
heard of
heard
it.
of them? Dude, you live in
Mm-mm.
East Bumfuck, so I guess that makes sense.
That would be true. I live in my own world, baby. We don't
Yeah.
live. Hey,
So
we don't.
Spray Max in the automotive world is the largest spray can company, at least in the auto body world, right? And their 2K products, they have a glamour clear, but it's not like a traditional glamour style like high solids clear coat. So at least in my understanding, this should be the first real high solids clear in a can, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Right. And then with that can I can also put in my UHS, which is even like ultra high solids clear.
Ultra high solids. Yes, sir. Yes,
60%
sir.
solids in a spray can.
That's cool. Imagine polishing that joker.
Exactly. So I'm trying to
You
do
gonna be
that.
there all day.
Right. And I think it'll be cool because like obviously like as a professional too, right? If you can get a spray can that is the exact same clear that you put on that car, why not?
And you could just
Why not use that for your cut-in? Why not use a spray
yeah,
can for your cut-ins or your door
yeah,
jams or whatever, right? Like that's kind of the idea.
yeah. That'd be cool, bro.
Yeah. And then also like
I would like one. So they have the like 90. They have the like 90 spray
yeah,
check for the spray out
yep, I
cars.
have that coming too.
But if you came out, but even beyond that, if the rapid clear for the spray out card would be cool because it like 90 mimics clear, but clear coat is what you're
Mhm.
supposed
Yeah,
to. You know what I'm saying? So
for
if
sure.
you had a clear you could put on your spray out that actually dries fast, so I didn't have to mix it.
Yeah, that'd
That'd
be
be
cool.
cool too.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I that might be a good 1K product because I've been working on a 1K high solids
Mhm.
specifically for that. which could be
Okay,
cool.
okay. No, I let you do you because I know you
Yeah,
be cooking. So
that could be cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, so the spray cans in general, I'm making a pretty big change. So all of those will be, Alpha branded, obviously. And then the kits will now, I'll be able to offer gloss, flat, and matte in my bike kits, which
I
is
know I
huge.
I remember you telling me that. I
Yeah,
remember you telling me that.
yeah, that's gonna be a
That's
big
cool.
change. Yeah.
And that's gonna be in the cans?
Yeah.
Matte in a can?
Uh,
Oh, that's about to be crazy.
yeah.
That's about to be crazy.
And the cool thing about the matte is it's the same base product as my 4521. So it's a high solids matte clear coat, which is cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that makes it
Has some decent build to it then. That's what
right.
oh my god.
Right.
That sounds cool, Tommy.
And then the flat is also the same as the matte, just with extra mattifier, basically. So they're all going to be a high solid style clear in a spray can. So that'll be cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So I'll definitely, whenever that's launched, I'll get you another bike kit if you have another bike to paint.
I have that's not a bike isn't a problem. We got tons of bikes out
Okay.
back. You know,
Well,
I work at a slow shop.
that's fair. I mean,
We literally
the other thing we could do too is I'm hoping I can launch my wheel kit. So a wheel paint kit, like rims, like full car wheels. That could be cool.
I'm if you send it to me, I'm gonna do it. It's simple.
Yeah,
It
that'd be
don't
good.
matter. So if you send a wheel kit, I'll find some. I pay mine. I don't care. I'll find some ribs. We got ribs. Like we go down to you pick and get some ribs.
Yeah, I guess
Trip,
that's
bro.
true. All right.
I get some ribs.
For sure. All right, man.
You ain't gotta worry about none of that, bro.
Well, for you, all right. So at the end, I want to kind of put the spotlight on you. What are some things content-wise that you're working on? And then where can people find you?
Content wise, we are working on my 1967 Ford Mustang. Still working on the collision work as well. You could always find me, Saucy Painter, on all medias: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I even on Lemon 8. So I mean, I'm all over the place. You just got to type in Saucy Painter. Yeah, it's a TikTok knockoff. It's not doing so great. I only
Okay.
got like 50 followers. Hey, but if you're there,
I'm
I'm
there.
there. Just type in Saucy Painter, you gonna find me. I'm telling you, I'm there. You gonna be hey, it's not gonna be a lot, but I'm there.
That's cool. Very cool.
Definitely.
Cool. And
For sure.
I expect everyone that's watching. Obviously, we had that little rant about you trying to clip out your long form. I already told my team you should have some clips to be able to do from your most recent. So when you try those, I want to hear Pete go comment on because by the time this is up, he's already gonna have posted at least one. Go comment on it and give him feedback on it. If you like that content,
I need to make sure. So I need to make sure that I understand this right. So I'm having my music content, and then I'm having my long content, and then I'm taking short form out of the long content, right?
Yeah. So you'll have your
I can do
normal.
that.
You're gonna have your normal entertainment,
Oh, sorry.
right? Which is
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
songs and that kind of stuff. And then you're gonna have the clips from the long form that is more like tutorial based or educational. That's the idea.
How? What's the time frame of that? Like is that a minute?
Short form should be under a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're gonna have the clips.
I can do it.
Don't even worry about it.
Huh?
I said my team's working on making the clips right now, so you'll have them just to post. So.
Oh, okay, for real.
Yeah.
Y'all see how Tommy treats me? Come to the spray source so Tommy can treat you like that too.
Oh yeah, because I don't have time for everyone quite like that. But all right, brother.
I'm just playing.
I appreciate you being here, man.
I appreciate you for having me. Thank you so much, Tommy. I hope you have a good day, brother.